Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining On the Spot Motorsports with David Rogers. I'm your host, Mitchell Gunter. Tonight, we have four guests that will be joining us. We're going to talk about legend car racing and the ins and outs uh, at the shop and on the track, what's going on. So, no further ado, I'm going to bring my guests on and let them each introduce themselves to the viewers. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
Afternoon. Afternoon.
I think we
have
a little background issue. Let's see. I'm going to turn mine down and see if that helps. Can y'all still hear me good?
Yes.
Yep. All right. Each one of y'all introduce yourself.
I'm Thomas. I'm driver and crew member at Beattie Racing. Working there for a year. Been racing with them for 6 years.
I'm Chris Hammett. I'm Cowboy Racing. I've been racing something for about 18 years. Been judging cars for about 8 years or so.
My name is Dominic. I got into electric car last year, March. I moved to New Hampshire. I started racing go-karts right outside New Hampshire Motor Speedway. I've been racing in general around for 10 years now.
And that leaves me. I'm Brody Gunte. I am 15. I've been racing for 8 years now, 7 in quarter midgets, and this is my second year in Legends.
Okay. I just have one little question. Can each of y'all turn y'all volume down just a little bit? That might stop the echoing from in the background.
I'm gonna say I couldn't hear it.
All right. I still hear just a little bit. All right. We're just going to go ahead and move on. First question that I have for each one of y'all. How many races do y'all usually participate in per year?
So I personally participate in about roughly 20 races a season. Kind of spread out through from February to October, November.
Yeah, same thing. I try to get in about 20 per year. Between early April into late October. Somewhere around 20 is what we like to do.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't really keep track. Probably around 15 races per year. Try to get as much as we can. Try to get to a lot of kinds of different racetracks, to learn the car. That's really it.
Yeah, and I run 20 to 25 races a year normally, running the Celt Series and some shootouts and some national events here and there.
How did each one of y'all get involved in racing the Legends? I'll start with you, Thomas.
I can't hear you again. It's not working.
Okay. Let's try something. Just hold on just a second here. Now, can you hear me good?
A little better, yep.
Okay. How many races do you usually participate in a year?
Roughly 20. Try to see what we can do. We start at Winter Nationals. Start picking up some more local races, Southeast Legend Tour. This year we got the All Pro Tour. Then some national events here and there when we can.
Okay. How about you, Chris?
Same about 20 races a year, just a little bit different schedule. We started up here about in early April, running our local races up here, and then this year we're going down south a little more, run some Southeast races, run some of the All Pro Tour races. So wherever we can squeeze in 20, that's about what we like to do.
Okay.
Yeah, same here. Like 15 to 20 races. We try to fit in. I haven't done any national races yet, but we try to do series like the All Pro and the Southeast Legends Tour. I go to a lot of weekly races too, just the weekly track races. Yeah.
Okay. I found the echo while we were working on that. It's coming on your end, Brody.
Okay. Is that better?
I think that might be better.
I think a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's a lot better. You can still hear it, but it's very, very faint.
If I talk louder, does that help potentially?
Oh, you're fine. It's just when I talk, it echoes a little bit.
Okay.
How did each one of y'all get involved racing Legends?
So I started out in go-karts. I'm originally from New Hampshire. There's a lot of champ kart racing up there, flat kart racing, stuff like that. A couple years before we got into it, I started getting older. My dad was trying to find another route for us to go. Go-karts weren't really – they were kind of dying out in that area, and they had recently opened up the New Hampshire Legend Car store. So it was a dealership in New Hampshire at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. A couple of my friends I grew up racing with moved on to Legends. So it's kind of just a natural thing. Kind of next step would be going to Legends. I was older, so Bandoleros weren't really a thing for me. I was too big at that point, too old. So we went straight into Legend cars.
Yeah, pretty much about the same for me. I started racing go-karts when I was 9. Went and ran a lot of weekly stuff and a lot of state stuff, and then we moved on to running national go-kart races, and we had a lot of success and won a lot of trophies. Same thing, go-karts started to kind of fall off a little bit, and we were looking for something different to move to. Same by that time, I was too old to get into a Bandolero, so we jumped right into the Legends cars.
How about you, Dominique?
Same thing for me for the start. I got into a go-kart in New Hampshire. There's a go-kart track right behind New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And I raced there for a couple of years. And then we moved down here to North Carolina. I got into a mini cup. It's sort of like a Bandolero, just a little bit slower. And then just last year I got out of it and moved to a Legend car.
How about you, Brody?
I raced quarter midgets at first for like 7 years. After a while, my friends I raced against started moving up into Legends. So people who helped work on my car, they helped us introduce us to Kyle Beattie, and eventually we tested out a car at Hickory with them, and then here we are.
Well, I got another question, and that question is, how much time goes into getting these cars set up, from going from racetrack to racetrack?
So as for myself, working at the shop, I'm doing this all day, pretty much every day of the week, depending on what we got for cars going to the track. It takes roughly a full work day to kind of get through a car. We have like roughly a 50-point inspection, kind of like what you get if you went to the car dealership with your regular car. We go through, we check all the stuff every week. We got to go through and make sure everything's tight, nothing broke, nothing's bent. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of setup work, a lot of changes that we got to make throughout the week to get it from track to track, make sure we're 100% ready for the next track we go to.
Do y'all pretty much keep a log of the tracks that y'all go to, so y'all know the grade of the track to help set up the camber on the cars?
Yeah, so Typically, if we go to a new track, we'll take a good baseline set up to a track that's very similar. We'll go through, we'll do some testing. Sometimes we're going to make some changes while we're at the track. So we'll get a good baseline for the track, camber, everything. There's all sorts of numbers that go into it all to make a race car 100% ready to go racing and make it as fast as we can. And so we'll go through, we'll do a lot of testing. We'll bring multiple drivers out there, go out there for a day, turn a lot of laps, try to figure out what benefits us, what's going to work best for us while we're at the track. And then we'll bring it back to the shop. We'll remeasure the entire car, check everything over again, and we'll write down all the measurements we got. So that way, when we go back, we have a good baseline. And depending on the day, sometimes you got to adjust a little bit here and there, depending on how the track is with weather and such.
Well, while we're talking about car setup, can you tell our viewers, pretty much the type of motors that y'all use in those legend cars? And
yeah, so the
and there's two different type, correct? You have your air cooled, and you also have water cooled.
That is correct. So the air cooled is it's not as popular anymore. We've now moved on to the water cooled. A lot of people still run the air cooled. There's nothing wrong with them. Those were a Yamaha 1250 engine or 1200. So they come through. The 1250 would come through. U.S. Legend cars, they'd seal it, do all their measurements, make sure the engine's legal, and then you could purchase it through them. The newer one is also a Yamaha motorcycle engine. It is out of an FZ09 motorcycle. So they take the engine out. They do a couple things here and there over at U.S. Legend cars. They seal them up, make sure you can't do anything with them, and they bolt into the car. And that one would be a water-cooled. They run a little cooler. They last a little bit longer.
Right. And probably they cool off between the heat's a whole lot quicker as well as a air cooled, correct?
Yes. And the nice thing with the liquid cooled compared to the oil cooled, once the oil cooled got hot, it just stayed hot. You'd have to put fans on it. Every time you came off track, you'd have to cool down the engine while you're out there on track. You knew the engine was always hot. With the water cooled ones, they run a lot cooler, which keeps them so they run longer, and it gives them a longer engine life, more power. It doesn't get too hot to where it starts to lose a little bit of power.
Right. I got a question for Dominique. Do you do a lot of relying back information to the team, say from the heat races, getting ready to go to the feature? Is there a lot of talk going on to try to make the car better before y'all do get into the feature?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. We do I haven't done any heat races yet, but after practice, I always talk to them, let them know what the cars feels like. If there's anything wrong with it, if it's tight, too loose, or something's just not right. I let them know and try to get the thing faster for the feature. Yeah.
Thomas, do you like your car a little bit on the tight side, or do you like it a little bit on the loose side? Because they always say loose is fast.
I'm going to agree with that statement. With legend cars, a lot of times a looser car is a little faster. Coming from go-karts, when I was younger, I always kind of liked a more tight race car. I liked a nice, snug race car. Moving up into legend cars, I've really learned to like a little bit loose. So that way when you're coming off, you're really driving it. And I found I got more roll speed. You got more speed all the way around.
Right. Chris, do you feel the same way? Do you like your car tight on the tight side or the loose side?
No, definitely on the loose side. Tight cars wear you out, and they're slow. So yeah, you definitely have to keep it on the edge. You need that car dancing a little bit off the corner if you want to be fast. So yeah, loose is fast, 100%.
Yeah, I tell you, I've watched a lot of Brody racing, and from being in camera of the car, and man, y'all's hands are full with those legends. I mean, he's just a seesawing the wheel back and forth the entire time. And Brody, do you do anything to prepare yourself for that? You have to be kind of physically fit to be sitting there in the car, steadily sawing back and forth on the wheel.
No, yes, sir. I definitely do. I have my workout usually during the week. Try to prepare myself for the races. Also, I do a simulation, which kind of isn't exactly the real thing, but it does help mentally prepare yourself for like those things. Helps you to stay like always be in the car and always practicing, always holding a steering wheel.
Right. I tell you, it looks like those legends can sometimes be a handful, compared to seeing in-car video of, say, a super late model. The super late model looks like you just sit in there and you just turn your wheel and go with the banking. But in a legend, I mean, you're like this. Is that pretty true statement? Is it because of the short wheelbase?
With
Yeah,
legend
but
cars. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
yeah. I mean, the thing with the Legend one, we don't have any power steering or anything like that, so it's all you. Two, the cars are really light for how fast they can go. We only have to weigh 1,230 pounds with driver, so there's not a lot of weight there. They're small cars, only a 6-foot wheelbase on them, and they make a lot of power. So no, they're definitely more of a handful than most other cars you'll drive, at least on an asphalt.
Um, I'll go ahead and start off with you, Chris. I mean, is there expectations of maybe, and I'm going to ask all of y'all, of moving up to the next level, or are you pretty comfortable running the Legends cars?
Um, when I was younger, I obviously had a lot of aspirations. I'm 27 now, and unless I have find a my dead uncle left me a bunch of money. No, this is about where this is about where we'll be, which is fine. I enjoy racing in general. Um, so anything I can do to drive a car, and if that's a Legends car for the next however many years, then I'm okay with that. Um, we have to deal with our young hot shots like Brody coming in every year. We got to put up with him a lot. But it's fun. It's enjoyable. I just like to drive. So yeah, if we're gonna run Legends cars, and we'll run Legends cars until there's no more Legends cars, and then we'll find something else.
How about you, Dominique?
Uh, well, I'm pretty comfortable where I'm at right now. I haven't really thought about where I'm moving next. Um, but I'm pretty comfortable. I like Legends car. It's small, it's fast, it's got a lot of power behind it. But super late model will be my next move if I go anywhere. I like the short track racing, so
Right.
yeah. So I'm a short track guy. That's just what I've grown up with, and I stuck with it, and I like it a lot. So my next move would probably be super late model. We're not there yet, though. I'm gonna continue this legend car for a couple more years until I'm ready.
How about you, Thomas? I know you work in the shop a lot, and you also do race. Is there a possibility of trying to move up to the next level as a driver or as a mechanic for, you know, a professional team? Is that something that you kind of dream of doing?
I'm pretty comfortable where I'm at with working there. I enjoy working on the legend cars. Something I know pretty well. Every once in a while we got some other couple things we worked on. It's definitely a lot of fun. As far as driving wise, I can see myself in legend cars for quite a long time. Um, Comes down to, unless I got the funding, I don't think I'm going anywhere else in racing for a while. But I love the legend cars. Like everyone else said, they're a blast to race. You got people like Brody that come in that they're gonna come show you how to race, and they're gonna be young. You've been in it for a long time, but hey, that's just the nature of it. You can bring them pretty much anywhere you want in the country, go race them, and you can race against anyone at any age, really. And that's the nice thing about it is it's not a bunch of the same people. You can go all over the place and race against all these new people all the time.
Right, and it looks like it's a very very fun class to run. It looks like a lot of people come out. I've watched some live feeds from some of the races, and man, the stands are pretty packed watching y'all race, and there's some really good type racing in there. And of course, you have the occasional accidents that are going to happen on the track. So that fans, tell you the truth, that's what fans go to look for is close, tight racing. bumping and rubbing and turning the other guy. Those type of things is what draws a crowd. Brody, where do you see you going after you finish with racing midgets?
Well, we're not even really sure yet. We've tried to look at late models, but it's way out of what we can afford. We've tried to look at dirt, road course. We're not really sure yet. I am really comfortable where I'm at, really comfortable with the team and the other drivers, but we don't know exactly where we're going to go yet. We've tried to look at other things, but aren't sure.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand. It's not easy to race. It takes a lot of effort from you as a person to drive. It takes effort to try to reach out to people to become marketing partners. And I've done a little bit of it in the past. And, always say a lot. I know it's kind of like a broken record, but a lot of doors are going to get shut before one lets you stick your foot in just a little ways to have a conversation. And a lot of companies are out there, and you want to deal with companies that are in the area mostly where you're going to be racing at. And of course, North Carolina, Tennessee, and South Carolina is pretty much the big area for short track racing. And so you only have X amount of companies, and you have a lot of people up there looking for those marketing partners in those areas, and that makes it slim pickings for everybody. I know, Brody, in the past you've drove a couple different type of cars. Would you be acceptable to drive, say, a Formula One or an Indy car, or?
I mean, I'll drive anything if I'm offered it. I mean, it's not like a question of like, if I was really offered it, I'd definitely drive an F1 car if someone offered me the keys to it.
you
Or an Indy
definitely
car.
not going to turn anything down, and probably, I mean, if someone offered any of y'all a ride like that, it'd be kind of hard to turn down that opportunity without jumping in the seat and strapping in and trying it out. I mean, if someone walked up to me and said, "Hey, I got a rally car over here at the firm, and I can't race it because of a health issue. I trust you to jump in there." I'm not going to turn it down. I'm jumping in the seat and I'm strapping in and I'm going to get ready to go. And, I'm very competitive, but I also like to have fun at the same time. And to me, to be involved in motorsports, you got to have that balance. It's got to be fun and you got to be competitive at the same time. And I believe probably all of y'all are that way. Go around, y'all raced at several tracks and stuff. I'm going to go around and y'all tell me what is y'all's favorite track to race at.
For myself, there's one track I've always loved. It's up in New Hampshire. It's called White Mountain Motorsports Park. It's a really banked, tight quarter mile, and it's just one of those tracks that it carries a lot of speed for how small it is. And I've always just had a passion for that place. It's one of the coolest places I've been to. When you're out in the grandstands, there's such a great view of the mountains and everything. It's awesome.
How about you, Chris?
I can definitely tell you the ones I don't like. And I'm a little biased. It's the two tracks I've won at. I really like Bethel Motorsports Park or Bethel Motor Speedway up in New York. It's like Martinsville for a Legends car. It's so much fun. Then on the other end of it, our local track, Dominion Raceway, is 3/8 of a mile of badass fast, and it's banked and it's like Daytona, and I love racing there too. So those are probably my two. I have a lot longer list of ones I don't like though.
How about you, Brody?
My favorite track would probably be the Foam. Out of like all the tracks, it's a road course. Surprisingly, just a very fun track, very tight, hard to pass, but a very fun all-around track. Being that it has several different parts of like an actual road course. S is a hairpin, everything you'd really want in a road course. Other than that, I mean, similar to like Chris said, I have a long list of tracks I don't like. Similar, mostly how the day is going. If it's a good day, you love that track, obviously. But
Exactly. Do you prefer like the road courses like the Roval as well?
it mostly depends on car count. I mean, if it's a huge oval field, I'd probably take the oval race. But if it's like a small field, I'd probably take the road course, being that there's more going on in the smaller field at the road course with the shifting and the corners and the braking and stuff like that.
How about you, Dominique?
I haven't been to a huge variety of racetracks yet with the Legend car, but my favorite so far is definitely Wake County Speedway. It's a tight, very short quarter-mile racetrack. Carries a lot of speed for its size. It's a pretty fun track. Got some really tight racing there, a lot of bumping and rubbing. Um, but it's not like I don't like racing at tracks. It's like I don't like the track. So like I don't like Kingsport Speedway, the one we just went to, but it was so much fun to race at. You kind of know what I mean?
Does
It's
does a track there have a lot of character? You know, a few
yeah,
bumps here and
it's
there,
got a
and
lot of stuff going on up there. So I love racing there, but I just don't like the track. If you kind of know what I mean.
right. Um, I like Hickory. I haven't never been to Hickory, but I've watched a lot of races at Hickory, and I think it's a pretty neat track. It's an old track. A lot of racers have raced there, like I think Natalie Decker, Haley Deegan. They've put a lot of laps down there at Hickory. Um, so I think that's a neat track. I like the setting, the atmosphere around the track, just the way it looks. It looks like it's a pretty neat place, and hopefully one day I'll get to go up there and look at it. Another track, I know it's not a legend track, but something I would like NASCAR or some sanctioned body to come in and do something with, and that's Rockingham. Uh, Rockingham, it's very sad that place is just sitting there. I went up there to Rockingham to drag race, and of course, right across the road is the Speedway, and I'm like, man, it's a shame that there's nothing going on in there. And I'm wondering if there's actually a possibility they can do something there for the Legends cars, so something actually can be going on, and they can put some uh, tails in the seats per se, and try to bring a little bit of that atmosphere back there to Rockingham. What do y'all think about that?
Um, I mean, they're bringing back North Wilkesboro, so anything is possible. I mean, if anybody followed how they cleaned that place up to scan it for iRacing, and what it looked like, and that track's going to be repaved and reopened next year. I think anything's possible for Rockingham. I think NASCAR should 100% go back to Rockingham. It sucks to see tracks die, whether that's short tracks or big super speedways. It sucks. So, I mean, yeah,
Right.
they do something. It's sitting there rotting. It was a great racetrack back in its day. There's no reason why. I mean, it all comes down to money, but there's no reason why you can't influx some money into Rockingham and bring that place back alive.
I know they did some track testing there probably about a year and a half or so ago, and they were thinking about trying to race something there. I mean, if you
I think
can't
the
bring
car
back
store.
what's
I
that?
think the car store thought about going there. I don't think they couldn't get a tire to work or something, but I know they tested.
Right. But it is a nice facility, and I think it's a little bit too big for the Legend cars. I do believe it's what, a little over a
So
mile.
I think it's right around a mile.
So
Which, I mean, I'm down if you are.
I mean, if the Legends can hack it, hey, let them run the whole mile. Uh, You know, and I know the track's got some character, and I think that's one of the reasons why NASCAR kind of stepped away from it, because the track surface needed to be redone, and I guess they didn't want to spend the money there. But that whole area of Rockingham, they need something going on. They got they got nice hotels around there, and no one to stay in them because there's nothing really going on, not unless something's happening across the road at the drag strip. Um, let's see. Uh, can y'all take turns and kind of explain what it's like there during the day of an event and everything that y'all have to go through and all that for the viewers? And I'll actually start off with Brody, and y'all can just rotate around. What is your average day at the track like, Brody?
An average day would probably be we obviously show up early in the morning, get to the track, unload your gear, pull out the car, get everything set up, ready to practice for the first round of practice, where you want to shake down the car, make sure everything's working properly, see see how the setup is. Then the next round of practice, try and make adjustments, make it faster, test some things if your line's a little off, see if you can make yourself faster. Then you go into qualifying and you give it 120% if you can, and try and get up to as far of the field as you can for that race. And then you go into the race, obviously, and try to prepare yourself mentally for that, of what could possibly happen, the good and the bad. Most preparing yourself for the bad stuff, because obviously anything can go wrong on lap one.
Right.
And then just
now,
race.
You talk about getting yourself prepared, mentally. What kind of things do you do? Do you like to kind of go off to yourself and just relax and focus, or do you like to listen to music to get pumped up? There are different ways to get mentally prepared for a race, and which one do you like to use?
I mean, I mostly just hang out with the other drivers, or watch the race before us, or the races. I don't really have any like superstition things I do or stuff like that.
How about you, Chris?
Pretty much the same thing as Brody said. Show up, get signed in. First round of practice, see what you got. Depends on if you've been to that track, before, then you kind of know where to start off with, or if you're going there for the first time, you have a lot to learn. So try to get the car better throughout the day. Try to qualify decent. If anybody has any tips on that, call me. And then go into the race. As far as preparing for the race, I don't have any really cool things that I do. I like hanging out, watching the other races. But once it's about time to get in the car, then I'm getting. I don't need anybody to talk to me. I know what I'm supposed to do. Once I start getting ready, it's time to get ready and go. You're excited, you're a little nervous every time. Doesn't matter how many times you do it. It's its own feeling. Then go out there and do what you do.
How about you, Thomas?
For myself, sometimes it can be a little different. If I'm going just to the track by myself, I'm just going racing, pretty similar to everyone else. Kind of get there, unload my stuff. If I'm going working, we get there. We have a big truck and trailer. We drive there. We have to unload all the cars. We get the pit box out, set up the pit area, make it so all the customers come in, have room to sit, hang out, kind of enjoy themselves while they're at the track. Because you're at the track, you don't want to just be standing around. I mean, you want to enjoy yourselves as well.
Right.
Same type of thing. Go through the day, kind of get ready for practice, make sure everyone's car's good and set, make sure everyone gets in, gets ready, make sure they're good, let them roll off. We go make sure everyone's good in practice. Anytime they come in, talk to the drivers, see if they need any adjustments on the car, depending on weather. The track's going to be a little different, maybe a little different changes than we've done in the past. We always got to try something. If you're a little bit off and you want a little bit of a change, we'll try anything to try to make you better. And at the end of the night, we hope we're in victory lane.
Is it a little harder for you being a driver and also working on the cars? Is it a little harder for you than just driving?
For myself, I actually find it makes it easier on myself. Since I've started working with all the guys at Beattie Racing, I've learned a lot about the cars. Coming from just kind of doing my own stuff here and there, helping my dad out and being a driver, I've learned a lot about the cars themselves. So it puts me in a better spot where I go on the track and I can kind of feel the car out and I can say, hey, I think maybe for myself I should just try this little change. Maybe I should try this. Instead of just coming in and kind of talking, I can kind of have a base idea, bounce ideas off the other guys, come in and talk to them, tell them how the car felt, but also tell them what I think maybe I need to change, maybe I want to try, recommend it to some other drivers, see if they also enjoy it, like the change. If not all the changes are the same for everyone. I mean, I might get a change and works great for me. Brody tries it and he just doesn't like it. It doesn't work for him.
Right. It's got to fit the style of the driver, how they, like the old saying, you have to drive by the seat of your pants. It's about the feel and if it's in your comfort zone, it may not be in another driver's comfort zone. Dominique, how about you?
Basically the same things everyone else. Just got to get to the track early. First practice, see what you got. If anything needs to be changed, I tell them. We'll work it out together. Second practice, try harder. Work on improvements, and then qualifying. You just full sends and you try to get that fastest lap. Normally during intermission though, there's like 2 hours of break. I'll usually go get some lunch. They had a restaurant nearby or something, so. But last time we did that, we missed a driver's meeting. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, that wasn't too good, was it?
No.
What do you kind of do to get mentally prepared before hitting the track? For say a feature.
I just relax myself. Sometimes I get a lot of adrenaline running through, so I gotta relax myself. Just hang out, just don't run around in circles, then I'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm pretty much kind of similar to y'all when I'm getting ready to race. I'll walk up which I'm live streaming the races as well while I'm at the track. So I'm live streaming, I'm racing, and I have to do things in between, getting the car cooled down between rounds. And to me, staying busy, it helps me more to relax. For some odd reason, you would think that it wouldn't, but it keeps my mind, I guess, entertained, that I'm not just worried about, how well I'm going to do the next round. But when it gets to right before go time, I get in the car, I put the helmet on, the fire jacket on, and I strap in. I kind of change a little bit and I get a little bit more serious, probably within 5 or 6 minutes before I go out to make my pass and try to beat my competitor. So it sounds like, it's pretty much all similar, even though it's different type of racing. Well, another thing I want to ask y'all, who is y'all's favorite driver? What's y'all's favorite driver?
For me, my hero was Mark Martin. That was my guy. That's why I run the number 6. That's it. And besides Thomas, he's pretty cool too. But other than him, Mark Martin. I like Ryan Blaney now, but Mark Martin's my guy.
How about you, Thomas?
I've always been a fan of Kevin Harvick. That's why I run the 4. It's kind of been my thing since I was younger. Pretty much since he got in the car, I've been number 4. Always enjoyed watching him race.
How about you, Brody?
My favorite driver is probably Joey Logano, although most people probably hate him, probably after Darlington. I don't like him, not his aggressive driving style, mostly how he is off the racetrack. He's a very nice and kind guy to all his fans, whether they like him or not.
Yeah, I think he does really good with the fans, and watching him, how he relates to people. I know he's been to the quarter midget races that have happened out at Daytona Speedway during Speed Weeks. Him and a couple of other drivers take their time and come down there and watch and sit down with the drivers and talk to them as well. And you got to respect those guys that get out of their haulers and come down and watch the upcoming the upcoming stars to the sport. You got to always think about that. And now, before we get to Dominique, I don't want y'all to laugh at me, but my favorite driver all time was Greg Biffle. I thought Greg Biffle was always a really good driver. Came up through the ropes. Started out in the West Series, moved on into the Truck Series, and then I'm trying to think. It wasn't the Xfinity Series back then.
It was Bush.
And then went on up to Cup. And so I've always, liked him. Very, very good competitor. And I hated to see him, walk away. And he did come back, raced that one time for Kyle Busch in the truck. And by goodness, man, he took it straight to the winner's circle like he's never skipped a beat running on the track. And then, he got a new ride for Daytona and a couple of races. And I have to look. He might be coming back to a race at Talladega with that team. But that was always been my favorite driver. I mean, I've got quite a few of his diecast cars, and I've got a rear quarter panel sitting over here on my other wall from his Ortho Bug Be Gone scheme car. How about you, Dominique?
Well, it's funny because I was about to say, you guys are probably going to hate me for saying this, but my favorite driver is Joey Logano. But when I heard Brody say that, I'm like, hey, maybe you guys aren't going to hate me. So, I really started liking him back when I started collecting diecast. I think he was my first diecast car I ever had. And then I just grew up liking him, I still have that diecast. I'm looking right at it, but I mean, yeah, I was there at Darlington. I was pretty aggressive, awesome. Yeah, but yeah.
Well, I like what he kind of said. He rubbed me with 20-something laps to go, and I don't know how y'all think about it. He got in the back. He got in the back of Byron, and but to me, it wasn't. It didn't look like it was that hard of a lick to me, and maybe he just got the rear end brought the rear end up off the track just a little bit when he did get into him, and that's what got him all squirrely. But all those drivers that I mentioned are really, really good drivers. Mark Martin back in the day, man, he was something else, and I guarantee you that guy can still jump in a car and wheel it. I can almost guarantee you. And Kevin Harvick, man, they don't call him the finisher for no reason. I mean, he can be back at P20 running, and the next thing you know, man, he's running for the lead. He has a lot of, I say, moxie about him. He doesn't let things get in his way and bother him. He's like got a mental block that just shreds all of that stuff away from him. But it's kind of neat, A lot of the racers that I watched when I was growing up, they're pretty much all gone and retired. Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, and I even liked Darrell Waltrip, when I was really young, and Rusty Wallace, which he caught a lot of slack when he hit Dale Sr. and moved him out of the way in that one race, and he had a lot of hatred toward him for a couple of weeks, but that's what drives the fans to come out to the races. Those rivalries like that, it makes it worth watching and stuff. So, what is up on y'all's next schedule that y'all are going to be racing? What track is up next for y'all?
This weekend for us, we're at the Midway in Virginia, and then the week after that, we'll be in Hickory for the Southeast Leisure Store race down there. After that, I'm not sure, but I know this weekend we'll be at Dominion, and the week after that we'll be down in Hickory.
Okay.
Yeah, this Friday I'm going to Lake County for a doubleheader race. Like I said, probably one of my favorite tracks I've raced at so far. And then next week, I think I'm going to Hickory as well. I think. Um, and then after that, I don't know. But yeah.
How about you, Brody?
As well for this.
Go ahead. You
Like-
somehow you was muted.
I'll be heading to Hickory as well for the Selk Toy. Haven't raced there since the first time I got in the car, which me and Thomas raced against each other or drove against each other during that practice session. So that'll be interesting. Should be a huge car count.
How about you, Thomas? You're going to be there as well?
This weekend, I will also be racing the doubleheader at Wake County with Dominic. I will not be racing at Hickory.
Okay.
I do remember that, Brody. That was the first time you in the car. That was a great time. That's when I realized Brody was going to be a really good driver. I was going out there pushing the car about 75%, looked at my mirror, and he was all over me. I knew from that day he was going to be a very good driver.
Are y'all, I wanted to talk about tires. Are y'all still having a hard time getting tires right now?
Very much.
So y'all are kind of forced
Yes.
to run on some older scuffs and things.
Yeah, you really got to play a game of saving your tires. Make sure you're not just throwing tires on and throw tires on. If you have stickers, most people aren't using them. A lot of people aren't racing, which is making it the car counts real small because of the tire situation. But it's the same thing across the board. No matter who you are, no one really has tires right now. So you kind of just run what you have and make the best of it.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, what's going on right now, and it's being so challenging for drivers to get tires for their vehicles. It really is. I'm very lucky for what I do. A set of tires, they can last me for 2.5 years if I'm real careful on them. And I know y'all's don't last that long.
No, we're pushing it as far as we can, because no, there are no tires.
What tire do y'all usually run? Do y'all try to run like a Hoosier tire?
Hoosier, we have to run Hoosier.
Okay, that's what's asked of y'all in the rules to run. Okay.
Yeah.
Brody, it's a little bit of a ride for you to most of these races. Did you enjoy all that travel time, or does it get a little tiresome of making those 6 and 7 hour trips?
Well, depends on the day we at the racetrack. Obviously, it was a good day. It's a nice ride home. The bad day, it's a very long and not very good fun ride home. But yes, they are very tiring. Being that just come from Kingsport, that was like a 9 to 10 hour drive home, which felt really long, even though we had a good day.
Right. What accomplishments do y'all want to try to achieve this year?
Well,
I myself am just trying to get better on track and off track, helping out with everyone, making sure my car's dialed every week, making sure I'm on my best game, and doing as best as I can.
How about you, Chris?
Yeah. Obviously everybody loves to win. So love to pick up another win this year. That'd be great. But main thing, is just be consistent, be there every week. Have an opportunity every week to be competitive. If we can do that every week, I can't ask for much more than that.
Brody?
I'd say my main goal this year is probably to pick up my first actual win. I do have some young line wins out of the Celt series. I think I have 4 total so far. But I would like to get my first win, and I'd also like to try and qualify a little better, try and improve on that. But other than that, I think my main goal is just to keep improving each race.
You're talking about qualifying. do you think you just run a whole lot better when you have cars around you than no cars at all? Do you feel that way sometimes?
I haven't really figured out the issue myself. I feel like that's probably I got to figure out first is what the issue is in my qualifying or what I'm doing differently in my race. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just that I'm more comfortable around other cars or I'm less comfortable by myself or something like that.
How about you, Dominique?
Well, I'm just trying to focus on just this year, just trying to get a couple of trophies, just a couple of podiums or just a couple of wins. I know I got the speed, but I'm still learning still. But maybe by next year, I'm just trying to get my name out there, run a couple of national events, just try to get known. But this right now, it's not my primary goal, but I'm still learning.
Now, if someone wants to watch y'all's races, um, where can they go to be able to watch those, being televised? Is
Usually
there
they're
like a
streamed
website they
on.
can go to and watch it?
Usually they're streamed on uslegendcars.tv now. That will cover most of the national events, a lot of the big events.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I like
I know, I know Langley Speedway uses Flow Racing this year, so you can watch all the races at Langley on Flow. Um, some other tracks do different things.
okay. Yeah, because I think it's very important for people to watch it and come out and support it. And one of the reasons for that is the less participation that you have of people coming out, we have too many tracks that are closing up. No matter if they're circle track, drag strip, road course, we have too many of them closing up, and they're just reselling the land, destroying the tracks, and plopping warehouses down everywhere. And as sports fans, we need to get off our butts and our sofas. If the track's 2 miles down the road, get your butt up, go down there. What's a $15 entry fee to get in the gate to go sit down in the stands and spend $8 or $10 and get you a hot dog and Coke and watch some racing, and hear the cars, feel the cars, smell the atmosphere, and save our sport. There's if we don't start doing something soon and getting people to come out to those tracks, I'm afraid motorsports altogether is going to 10 years from now, where's it going to be? Is it going to be almost over? We already have the push for EV vehicles, and I'm not a big fan of EV vehicles. I mean, if you want to buy one and drive it, that's fine. But as far when it comes to racing, I'm not a big fan of the EV vehicle being on any type of track whatsoever because it takes away. There's no sound. Who wants to hear whistling wind when the car goes by? I mean, I don't. I want to hear the car. I want to hear the motor. Do y'all kind of feel the same way about that?
I mean,
Yeah, obviously, the bigger the crowded places, the better. Thankfully, most of the tracks that are going get decent crowds, but that's why they're still going. You look at a place like Myrtle Beach. That's the only thing that's left is part of the backstretch wall that says Myrtle Beach Speedway on it, and that track's gone. It's bulldozed. It's over. So you never like to see that. They've saved North Wilkesboro and turned that back into a racetrack again. Hopefully that we can somehow keep these tracks going.
I know, Brody, you was going to say something.
No, I was going to say that I definitely agree with what you said with the EV vehicle part, electrical vehicles. It's definitely would change motorsports racing 100% with no sound, basically not being able to say just everything. I feel like, I mean, I know F1 and NASCAR is currently trying to work on that. And to be honest, I'm hoping it takes a lot longer than they think it's going to take.
Yeah, I will not go to Daytona and watch a bunch of vehicles that are electric run around the track. It's not going to happen. And, there's a lot of other fans that out there, they feel the same way. So when you lose that fan base and you're only filling up 25% of the seats at Daytona, well, guess what's going to happen to Daytona track? It's going to go away. And we got to preserve motorsports. It's motorsports, gas-powered burning engines. Let's keep it there. I mean, if they want to make a class for EV vehicles, so be it. But don't mess around with our combustible motors. I mean, we don't want to do that. There was one other question I was going to ask before we ended the show, and I had it on the tip of my tongue, and I forgot about it. But I'll tell you what, it's been a pleasure having y'all on and everything. And that's it, Thomas. If someone wanted to get involved in Racing Legends, and it's for every age group, even all the way up to in your 80s and 90s, or still able to drive. How would they go about getting in contact with y'all's driver development and have an opportunity of maybe driving a legend car?
So the best way for that would be to contact us. Either we have a Facebook page, we have a website, phone numbers on the website. You can call, talk to either Todd or Kyle. They'll point you in the right direction. We have a rental car, typically let people go out, test it, race it. There's always a lot to be learned. It's great to just come, check out the shop, sit down, talk, chat with us. There's so much that goes into these things, so much that we do with them. We do everything from you want to come in and just have us do a quick setup on the car to we'll take the car, tear it all down, do chassis work to it if it gets wrecked or anything. So it's always great to talk to a team. It's always great to get in contact and just come by, talk to us. There's so much that goes into it, like I said, and we can kind of point in the right direction. There's many different options of going about it. So it's always just best you get to kind of see all the options, and then you can kind of pick and choose how you want to do it.
How much does it usually run to, say, come up there and rent a car?
So if you're going to come up, rent for a weekend, rent a car, it'd be roughly $1,200 for the weekend. You come up, we bring you to practice. We bring a car there. You meet us there. We'd make sure you're fitted in the car. We're going to make sure the car's set up for you, not set up for me or Brody or someone. It's going to be set up for you as a driver. As I'm sure all of you know, everyone's built different. Everyone's different height, weight, all that plays a factor in how the car is. So we'll get the car completely ready for you. Come up, and you pretty much just sit in the car and drive it and give us feedback.
Okay. Now, you said you can set up the inside of the car. Are y'all able to move the pedals inside the car up or further back?
So the pedals are one of the very few things we can't really move around.
Okay.
They're fixed to where they are. But I mean, as I am a bigger guy, I'm 6'3", 200 pounds. My seat is mounted down on the floor all the way back, where someone like Brody, where he's a little bit smaller, he's still growing. The seats are mounted more forward and more up, so he's closer to the pedals. He's still in that safe area. And then we can take the steering, we can adjust it up and down. There's multiple different ways we adjust it. We bring it closer to you, farther away from you, whatever's comfortable, whatever fits you best. So there's a lot we can do inside the car to make you fit and make you comfortable, because as a driver, a big thing is being comfortable.
And I tell you, $1,200 is not bad for a weekend where you just show up, the car's there, you jump in it, like you said, give y'all feedback if it's loose on entry, tight on entry, or exit, to make those adjustments for you, and be able to try to race it in and make the feature. And if you win, you sometimes win prize money, right?
That is correct. So most of the tracks we go to, it all really depends on the track, car count, sponsors of the races. I've seen anywhere from you win $100 to I've seen up to $1,200 of legend cars for even smaller weekly events or like tour events. They do every once in a while. You'll see online. There's a lot of pages online it's like a lot of legend car pages where they'll tell you, hey, there's a big event. Some of them I've seen up to $10,000 to win in just one race. So you if you keep your eye out, you can find all these places all over the place where there's some good prize money if you're willing to travel and if you're fast.
Well, I'll tell you what, it'd be neat to go up there and rent a car for $1,200 and then go out there and win twice as much and get your money right back. Which, it's not going to be that easy, unfortunately. You're just not going to jump in a car and without any experience running an oval, to win. But I think it's a great opportunity. And Brody, can I borrow you some money? I need to borrow you some money so I can rent that car and show you I can do more than just drive in a straight line.
I'm sure you can drive more than a straight line. Just depends how fast you can do it.
I'm not scared, so.
I don't think this. I believe that. I believe that you're not scared. It's just that there's a lot more than it looks like. Always like, is it the hands, like on the steering wheel, with your hand-feet coordination, I guess
Right.
hand-eye coordination.
Just one more thing, and I'll let everybody go. Y'all probably are ready to relax for the rest of the evening. You're talking about hand and eye coordination. We talked about the physical part of getting yourself prepared. Y'all probably work out and stuff during the week. What do you do to speed up your process for your eye-hand coordination? Is there any type of techniques that y'all use?
I personally, I like to use iRacing, the simulator, as it kind of gets you. It doesn't give you the best feel of being inside a race car, but it still gives you. You got a steering wheel in your hands, you got pedals on the floor, you're using your feet, you're working it, and you're watching. You're trying to do the best you can. So I've always found that that's helped me quite a bit, because it gives you almost the feeling of being in the car when you can't be in the car. And the best thing I found is the more seat time you have, the better.
Right. And I tell you, Brody, y'all don't laugh, but at Christmas, he had me jump in his rig at his house and take some laps around Daytona. And I'll tell you what, it's pretty neat. You can actually feel the steering wheel tighten up and stuff when you're banking and stuff. It's pretty impressive. And I didn't hit the wall. I didn't hit the wall at Daytona. Now he put me on a short track, and I went around a couple of times. But I tell you what, I think the simulators are a great tool. The whole iRacing thing that's came along. I think it does strengthen up your skills. And speaking of that eye-hand coordination, y'all are using manual transmissions. Do y'all run like a 4-speed transmission?
6-speed.
6-speed? Oh, okay.
So It's the original transmission from the motorcycle. So just the clutch, instead of being on handle, it is now your foot. And then the shifter, instead of being at your foot, is now at your hand. So it's more similar to a sequential.
Okay. That's pretty neat. Pretty neat. And you have to be right on, know right where to shift it at and your RPMs and everything. And I'm just going to have to start watching some more of in-car camera if I ever think about coming up there and renting one of them cars. And I tell you what, we'll bring all the cameras and everything out, the GoPro and all, and just show show people how hard it really is.
I just posted a video the other day of my race last week. I just got a helmet camera, so my GoPro's attached to my helmet. If you want, you could just search up my dad's name on YouTube. It's cool. You can see what's going on inside the cockpit and all that hand movement and shifting. Well, not much shifting, just the restart foot. That's it.
Well, I appreciate all of y'all coming on tonight and shedding a little light on the legend cars. Maybe this will help draw some interest and get more people interested in purchasing some cars and getting out there and racing. Maybe I can even talk my wife into let me quit drag racing and start making some 6-hour rides up to North Carolina and South Carolina, jumping in the car. and it'll be fun. I think it'll be a real good time. But again, I want to thank y'all. Thank everybody who joined us tonight and watched us. If you just catching us at the end, you can always go back to On the Spot Motorsports with David Rogers Facebook page, or go to YouTube On the Spot with David Rogers, or On the Spot Motorsports with David Rogers there as well, and catch the show from beginning to end. Again, gentlemen, y'all have a good one, and I hope y'all season keeps on getting good for y'all. And if y'all ever want to come back on, just holler. We'll be glad to have you.
All right. Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. And there they go. All right, what a great show to talk a little bit about the oval and those legend cars, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. Just want to remind everybody, we will be live streaming this weekend at Gainesville Raceway. So we have a double race, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. If you want to tune in and see what's going on, you're more than welcome. We'll be live streaming that both on Facebook and on YouTube. Until then, I want to tell everybody good night and hope that you have a great rest of the week.